When we think about dreams, we usually picture them like movies, right? Something we just watch in our heads. But have you ever had a dream that was a full-on, multisensory experience? Today, we're diving into the pretty incredible science of why your brain can make you taste, touch, and even feel things while you're completely asleep.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and be honest. Have you ever been in a dream and, I don't know, tasted the perfect, rich sweetness of a chocolate cake? Or maybe you felt that biting cold of a winter wind on your skin? Or hey, maybe you've even felt a sharp pain that felt totally 100% real. If you're sitting there nodding your head right now, then this explainer is definitely for you. So here's our game plan. We're going to treat this like an investigation. We'll look at how the brain is working, what kind of personality is prone to these dreams, the super thin line between sleeping and waking, how the real world sneaks in, and finally, why this might actually be a good thing. All right, first stop on our investigation, REM sleep. Now that's the stage where most of our dreaming happens. For a lot of people, only certain parts of the brain are really lit up. But for you folks having these hyperreal dreams, well, your brain is firing on all cylinders. Okay, so check this out. On the left, that's what's going on in a typical dream. The visual parts are active, the emotional centers are going, pretty standard stuff. But then look at the right. If you're having these super sensory dreams, it's a whole different ballgame. Your touch cortex, your smell cortex, and your somatosensory cortex, that's the bit that processes physical feelings, they all crash the party. It's pretty amazing. And here's the part that's absolutely wild. Your brain isn't just imagining these things. It's creating something called simulated input. What that means is it's actually generating the exact same neural signals it would if you were really tasting something salty or feeling heat. We're not talking about a fuzzy memory or a hallucination. This is the real deal, neurologically speaking. Okay, let's move on to our next big clue. And honestly, this one is super interesting. It turns out the way your brain is wired when you're awake seems to have a huge impact on how you dream. And these sensory-rich dreams, they seem to be way more common in a specific type of person. So have a look at this list and see if it rings a bell. Are you someone with a crazy strong imagination? High empathy? Do you just love getting completely lost in a good book or maybe a creative project? If you are the kind of kid who loved getting into character, well, there's a reason for that. Your brain is just naturally brilliant at turning abstract ideas into concrete, felt experiences. And it does that whether you're awake or asleep. And that brings us right to clue number 3, the idea that for some of us, the border between the waking world and the dream world is, let's say, surprisingly thin. So in this state, something pretty unique is happening. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical, rational part of your brain, it doesn't totally check out for the night like it does for most people. And at the exact same time, your sensory areas are going into overdrive. It's like you've got one foot in the rational world and the other in this hyper-vivid dreamscape. And if you have a brain like this, the results are probably going to sound super familiar. We're talking extremely realistic dreams with really intense emotions and physical feelings. You wake up and remember them like they just happened, crystal clear. This state also makes you more likely to have lucid dreams, where you actually know you're dreaming. And get this, dreams that can actually have sequels, like a running TV series, night after night. Okay, so now for the really sneaky part. How does the real, physical world manage to make a little cameo appearance in your dreams and become part of the story? Let's picture a really simple scenario. While you're sleeping, your blanket slides off and your skin gets a little cold from the air in the room. Now, your brain doesn't just wake you up. Oh no, it's a master storyteller. It takes that raw data, the physical sensation of cold, and it instantly weaves a whole story around it to explain the feeling. And just like that, you're not in your bed anymore. You're standing in a snowy field. Okay, here's another classic example. Let's say you've fallen asleep in a weird position, maybe your arm is kind of pinned underneath you. So your brain gets this real signal of discomfort or pressure. But instead of just waking you up, it incorporates that feeling directly into the dream's plot. Suddenly, you might be dreaming that something is squeezing your arm, or that you've hurt it somehow. Your brain is just doing its job, trying to make sense of any and all input it receives. So we've pieced together some major clues about how this all happens. But the big question is, why? I mean, is having these incredibly intense dreams just a weird quirk, or could it actually be a good thing? Well, here's the big takeaway from the research. This is not a sign of something being wrong. Actually, it's quite the opposite. It points to some really remarkable strengths in how your brain is wired.
So, if you have these kinds of dreams, it's basically a sign that your brain has some incredible strengths. It means you have amazingly strong connections between all your sensory regions. It points to high neuroplasticity, which means your brain is super adaptable and great at learning. And maybe most importantly, it shows you have a huge capacity for deep, rich emotional experiences. It's a sign of a powerful inner world. Okay, and we do need to add one quick but really important note here. For the vast majority of people, this is just a fascinating, cool trait. But if your dreams are ever so intense that they're constantly messing with your sleep, or if you find it really hard to separate the dream from reality when you wake up, it's always a good idea to chat with a professional. So, in the end, your ability to taste, feel, and smell in your dreams is so much more than a strange quirk. It's a window into the unique power of your brain. And it really leaves us with one final fascinating question to think about. If your brain can pull all of this off while you're sleeping, what other incredible secrets is it just waiting to reveal?